All right, so section 10.3 is about finding the sides of a triangle. They're going to give us two sides, or maybe they might, not two sides, sorry. They're going to give us an angle and they're going to give us a side, and we're supposed to try to figure out what the missing side is, okay? Now, one thing we're going to have to do, and I'll make sure I pause it just to make sure I give you guys instructions, but I'll also do it during the recording, is to make sure that you guys are in the correct mode on your calculator, okay? But we'll discuss that when the time comes. Now, again, the reminder that I put up here first, and we're just gonna kind of breeze through it, but just what we learned yesterday, right? The definitions for sine, cosine, and tangent, right? Opposite over hypotenuse for sine, adjacent over hypotenuse for cosine, and opposite over adjacent for tangent. And then don't forget, the C value is always our hypotenuse. The A and the B's, those are legs. Those can be in any order. The A can be on the bottom, the B can be on the bottom, or the A can be on the side, the B can be on the side. But C has to be the side that doesn't touch the 90-degree angle, okay? And like I said, we're going to be using calculators today, so if you don't have one, feel free to grab one. It is going to be beneficial. The work today isn't that difficult. It's very heavy on the calculator usage, but you do have to know how to set up the problem. And the thing about the work today is that they're not going to tell you what to do. They're just going to give you information, and you're going to have to figure out which way to do it. Okay, so we're going to have 3 examples, and I'll give you guys the homework so you guys can try it on your own. But it says find the measure of each side indicated, round to the nearest tenth. All right, so for this problem right here, we're going to have to find the measure of each side indicated. Now, the side indicated is the letter X. Now, if you see that the triangle has A, B's, and C's in green, okay, that's just because whenever we deal with triangles, I don't know if you guys remember in math too, but we always give them specific names, right? So we have triangle ABC, okay? So triangle ABC is right here. A is a vertex, B is a vertex, and C is a vertex. Okay, in other words, that's where the two legs meet. Okay, so for me, all they gave me in this problem, if you ignore the green stuff, because the green stuff is just for the name, the triangle ABC, they gave me a value of 10 for one side. They gave me a value of 50 degrees for one angle. And then I have to figure out the missing side, that's X. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is label the sides that are given. So you see how side AC doesn't have any information? I don't care about that side, okay? What I care about right now is this angle right here, okay? I care about that angle. I care about the number 10. Is the number 10 the hypotenuse, the adjacent, or the opposite side? That's the hypotenuse. How do I know? It's the side that doesn't touch the 90-degree angle. Notice how that side isn't touching the 90-degree angle. X, is that opposite or adjacent? That's my opposite side. Okay, so now I have to say, what trig function deals with opposite and hypotenuse? That's my sine. So I'm going to put sine. I'm just going to write it out, okay? Just so we have it. Sine of theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Notice they didn't tell me that I had to do that function. I had to figure it out by using the angle they gave me and labeling the sides that were given. I was able to figure out sine is going to be what works. Okay. Now, the angle is 50 degrees, so I'm going to put sine of 50 degrees is equal to opposite, which is X, over hypotenuse, which is 10. Now, if I want to solve for X, what should I do with that 10? Multiply it, right? I want to multiply it over here. I want to multiply it. So that becomes 10 sine of 50 degrees equal to X. Okay. Now, at this point, I want to just go over really quick how to make sure that your calculator is in degree mode. Okay. So I kind of pulled up a picture earlier. So let me go over here back to where I was. And I'll kind of zoom in. So you know that your calculator is in degree mode. If you look at the top of the screen, you're going to see it says math right here, right, on the right side. But you see how there's a letter D up here? That means you're in degree mode. If yours has the letter G or the letter R, does anybody here have the letter G or the letter R on yours? So yours does. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to hit the button that says shift. So it's right here on the left side. You're going to press shift and then setup. And then when you go there, there's going to be a number that says, you're going to press number 3. It says DEG. You press number 3 for degree. Okay. And that should basically change your letter to the letter D. Did anybody else need to change that? The rest of yours all have D. Now, if you don't have one of my calculators and yours might say DEG or RAD, okay, depending on what you have. But if your calculator is different and it doesn't say degree or the letter D, then let me know. I'll go and fix it for you, okay? You'll know if you have it in the right mode based on the answer I'm about to give you. All right. So, all right, let's go back to what we need to do here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on my calculator here and make sure mine does say D. So that's good. So 10 times sine of 50. So I just type that in, 10 sine and then 50. I'm going to hit enter. This is the answer it gives me. And I'm going to give you the long form of it. Okay. So it's 7.6604444431. That's what it gives me. But I want it to the nearest tenth. The nearest tenth is right here. Okay. This is the 10th place. So that's 6 on the right side. Does it round it up? Yeah, it does, right? So my answer is going to be 7.7. So 7.7 is equal to x. If when you did this, your answer did not come out to 7.6604444431, and you got some other number, that means you might be in radian mode or gradients. If that's the case, then just let me know and we can fix it. Okay, but everybody was good? So this is why you need the calculators, just for your calculation at the end. You don't really need it to do too much more than that. So here's another one. Like I said, we're going to do 3 of these. Notice this is triangle ABC again. Usually they call it triangle ABC or triangle XYZ. Those are the normal names for a triangle. Sometimes they got to use DEF if it's 2 sets of them. But usually it's either ABC or XYZ. So you'll also know the names have capital letters, right? The vertices have a capital A, a capital B, a capital C, whereas sometimes the sides will be lowercase a, lowercase b, lowercase c. So the capital letters are usually for vertices, the corners, and the lowercase letters are always held for the sides. Okay, again, that's something you guys probably should have learned in math too. I just don't know if you guys remember that. So, all right, so we have triangle ABC. We have an angle of 37, and then we have a 5 and an X. Okay, let me kind of highlight the 37 here, okay, because that's the angle that's going to be used. All right. The side that is not, that's empty, that's my hypotenuse, right? But I'm not going to label it. But that's my hypotenuse. But there's nothing there, so who cares, right? All right, what about the side 5? Is 5 my opposite or adjacent? Opposite. What about X? Adjacent. So what trig function uses O and A? That's tangent, right? So I'm going to write tangent of theta, just to write the definition, is equal to opposite over adjacent. So let me fill it in. This is tangent of 37 degrees is equal to opposite, which is 5, over adjacent, which is X. Now this one sometimes confuses people because they're like, oh man, X is on the bottom now. Well, that's okay. We're still going to treat it like a normal number. We're going to move stuff around, okay? I want to get it so that it just says X equals to something. So whenever the variable is on the bottom part of a denominator, it makes us work a little bit more. We're going to get that X and we're going to multiply it over to the left side. So it looks like this. X times tangent of 37 degrees equals to 5. Now I want to get X by itself. So what I'm going to do is, I mean, some people like to figure out what tangent of 37 degrees is and write it out. I don't like to do that. I'm going to keep it as tangent of 37 degrees, and I'm going to divide both sides by it. because tangent of 37 degrees is just a number. I just don't know what it is yet. Okay, but that allows me to cancel it out on the left side. It becomes x equals 5 over tangent of 37 degrees. Because I'd rather divide by tangent of 37 than by some decimal values, right? And then I'll let my calculator do the work. So now I have my x value there. So let me go to my calculator. I'm going to type in 5 divided by tangent of 37. I'm going to hit enter. My answer comes out to 6.635224108. That's a lot of numbers, but I don't need that many. I just need to round it up to the nearest 10th place. Okay? So should I round that one that I underlined, that 6? Does it become a 7 or does it stay? No, it stays because the 3 is not big enough, right? It needs to be a 5 or bigger. So this is going to be 6.6. So x is 6.6. All right. Are we okay with this so far? This is kind of the hardest type of question that there is when you do this. The ones where the variable is the denominator, those are the tough ones because you got to move the variable over. Then you got to divide by the trig function. Not that that's hard to do, but compared to the one we just did, that one was a lot easier, right? This one right here. We just had to multiply by 10 and we were done. Basically, the calculator did the rest. Here we had to manipulate a little bit, okay? So there's going to be easy and hard problems, but they're both the same. The thing that makes them easy is that the variable is not in the denominator. What makes them hard is that the variable is in the denominator, right? But even then, it's not that difficult. All right. So we have, again, a triangle ABC here. Okay, they gave me a 67 degrees, so I'm going to kind of highlight that with an arc. Okay, so 67 degrees is given to me. They gave me x for side AB. They gave me a 20 for side AC. I don't know what side BC is, but that's okay. We only need to know a couple of things. We don't need to know everything from the triangle, just a couple of things: an angle and a side, and then which one they want me to solve for. So let's start labeling. So do I know which one my hypotenuse is? Which one is it? It's x, right? I know that it's x because AB, that side AB, does not touch the 9-degree angle, right? So this is my hypotenuse. What is 20? That's going to be my adjacent side. Because the opposite side is over here, but there's nothing there, so I don't care to label it, right? There's nothing there. So this has to be adjacent. Okay, so I'm looking for something that has AH, which would be that. Which trig function is that? Cosine, right? CAH, right? So cosine of theta is equal to A over H. Okay, my angle is 67 degrees, so I'm going to put cosine of 67 degrees is equal to A, which is 20, over H, which is X. So this becomes the hard type, right? In my air quotes here, the hard type of problem, because it does have a variable on the denominator. All I'm going to do is multiply it and then divide by cosine of 67. Okay, it's not that it's that much more difficult. It's just that it requires more steps. Okay, so I'm going to get the X and I'm going to move it over here. Okay, that gives me X times cosine of 67 degrees is equal to 20. And then I'm going to divide both sides by cosine of 67 degrees just to get x by itself. So dividing both sides by cosine of 67 degrees. So on the left side, they'll cancel out. I get x equal to, now, what's 20 divided by 67 degrees? Let's see, 20, hold on, let me see, did I? Yeah, so let me write this out really quick. I wasn't sure if I did it before. So you said how much was it? 0.186 something. All right, so let me put right here 1860933. Okay, you don't have to write that out. I'm just showing you it's a big number. We gotta basically break it down. So, what is the rounded form of it? All right, 51.2. So x is 51.2. Okay? So this is what your homework is going to be like. Okay, you're basically trying to find the missing piece. Maybe it's a hypotenuse, maybe it's an opposite side, maybe it's an adjacent side. They're going to give you an angle. Okay, and then once they give you the angle, use the angle, use the side definitions, the trig functions to find the missing pieces. Okay, so let me go ahead and give you guys your homework. If you need a calculator, come up and get one.